What's up guys, back with another Konosuba video, and in today's video we are going to rank the goddess, heiress medal, goddess medals, whatever you want to call them. Pretty much the units that you can get for free in the goddess medal exchange. This isn't every free-to-play unit because not every free-to-play unit is in this exchange, unfortunately. I wish they were, but as of this recording, these are the units you can buy. We are going to go down the list and I'm going to rank them. I will be taking their ultimates into account, which will make certain characters automatically better, but for the most part we will just be going over what they do. So first off, we're going to start with Konosuba. He has 126 normal physical damage. He does 135 fire physical damage to all enemies and a minor chance to haze. And then he has 170 up to 230 if the enemy has a status condition, if they fire a single target. Pretty you know. The status condition isn't the greatest. If it was debuff, it would be really nice with snipe, but it is a status condition still. Since it's Konosuba, he gets a little higher up because he has snipe. He also has 5% attack when using physical attacks, which is actually pretty nice because most of the Konosumas are an element or whatnot, at least the ones I have. I don't have any 4-star Cosmos, unfortunately, but he's pretty okay if you want to run as a Link, if anything. But other than that, he's not really too crazy, so I'm gonna put a B tier. He does look funny though in the pumpkin outfit, I will say. But anyway, next up is Megumi. This is the bath one, squeaky clean. This Megumi is light based. I thought I had to sneeze. Making sure I have her 5/5. I think there's like 2 of these characters I don't have 5/5, so their percentages are going to be a bit lower, but I'll let you know when I get them. She has a 126 normal like bonk. She has a 142 light magic damage on all enemies, and then she has a 162 light magic damage to one enemy and moderate reduction to their magic defense, and then she has explosion. This is a rather discount ReZero. She does a lot less than the ReZero one. But if you really need her, I guess she works out. Most of the time, people would just run the other Megumis, but I'm sure she has her uses. I personally have never used her because I've always had the ReZero one. But, I mean, hey, you can make it work, I guess. She also has a 5% attack when using magic attacks, so, you know, usable as a Link compared to the Megumis who only boost fire damage. So that's nice, so I will put her in the B tier. Next up, we have Darkness. Now, Darkness, of course, isn't going to hit anything, unfortunately. My Darkness is also 111, so the percentages are going to be a bit lower, but she has 102 normal physical damage to one enemy with extremely low accuracy, moderate boost to your physical defense. Then she has a AoE fire physical damage and extremely low accuracy, of course, and minor recovery to all allies. And then her last skill is moderate chance to draw attacks and minor boost to physical defense for all allies. Actually not that bad. Other than the fact that Darkness misses, if you're going to use this in the dungeon, actually kind of solid. She's not going to tank nearly as well. Actually, I'm going to knock it down to a B tier just for the fact that her resistances are only wind. I'm pretty sure, let me double check. I swear the OG Darkness has resistance to all of them. They don't. Interesting. I swear I saw one of the Darknesses has multiple. Oh, it is OG Darkness. Okay, OG Darkness has 15% resistance to everything. The beach one, okay, any other one from in or out doesn't. Okay, so OG Darkness does have 50% to all of them. That's what it was. Okay, so I won't knock for that. I won't knock for that. I could have sworn that they all did, but that just shows how much little I use Darkness in normal day-to-day content. Overall, kit's not too terrible because she boosts defense. Excuse the yawn. She boosts defense on her normal attack, which is nice to always have defense up. She gives defense to all allies when she taunts, and she can have a heal. I'll keep her alive. Of course, you're never going to use her in anything that's not dungeon, so there's that, but she has a good use in it. Unfortunately, it's Darkness, so she is stuck in B tier. Next up is Union. My Union is in fact 5/5. She has a 113 light magic damage, single target basic attack. She has a 129 light magic damage on enemies and moderate booster magic attack. Then she has a 162 light magic damage to one enemy and a moderate chance to bind. And then, of course, we have the Union Supers. This Union is actually mad good and is used in Arena a lot. Definitely a good alternative if you don't have the 4-star Union or your 4-star Union isn't maxed. Very, very solid. Plus, the bind actually is somewhat useful in certain scenarios when you use her. That's pretty nice. I believe in the Fire Dragon dungeon that we just had, I saw a few people using the Union Bind on, I believe it was the Big Goblin, if I'm not mistaken. So there is uses with the Bind. It's a lot better to have a status effect that's not reliant on another attack having that status be active to do more damage. The Union is actually pretty solid. Next up, we have Cecily. Mine is 111, so she has a 100% fire magic damage to one enemy. She has a moderate recovery for all allies and minor boost to physical defense, and a 138 fire magic damage to one enemy, and a moderate chance to poison them. She's not bad actually. I'd put her in A personally. I used her when I first started. She was my fire healer back when I had Halloween Union. The poison is okay. The defense when you heal is all right. And she was all that fire had from what I remember. Of course, there's other characters now, but I do think she is actually pretty solid. Plus, you have the Cecily Supers that do such things as reduction to their magic defense to enemies, boost your magic physical attack, and then the healing. So she's a pretty budget healer if you do need one. However, there is also another healer on this list, but we'll get to that. So next up is Aru. This is the light Aru. Fills a similar role to Union. She has a 113 light magic damage to one enemy, a 154 light magic damage to all enemies, and a chance to induce haze. And then she has a single target 221 light magic damage. And then the Aru ults. I'm gonna put this Aru in A. If you don't have the play Aru and you need light Aru to do damage, she is a good replacement. However, she doesn't have as good a skills as Union, because haze is a lot worse than, boosting your magical attack. So unfortunately, Aru is knocked down a peg, but she's not terrible. Definitely more deserving than Cecily of A, but I will put them in the same one. Next up, we have Mitsurugi. So Mitsurugi is mine 555. He is. He has 126 normal physical damage to one enemy. Also, really quickly, I just realized I forgot to mention it for Cecily. Cecily boosts fire damage only. Union boost light damage only, and the Aru also only boosts light damage, so that kind of sucks if you want to use them as a sub for other Arus or Unions or whatever and they don't match the element. But anyway, back to Mitsurugi's. Mitsurugi's wind. Really quickly, we put him there. So he has 126 normal physical damage to one enemy. He has a 171 wind physical damage to one enemy, moderate reduction to their physical defense. And then he has a 171 single target wind attack that goes to 243 when HP is below 50%. I actually used this Mitsurugi in the original dungeon because it was weak to wind, and he actually did really, really good. The extra damage when you're low is nice, and he lowered their physical defense for eyes to go crazy. And he has a 5% attack when using physical attacks trait. Very, very nice for a 3-star Mitsurugi. I personally love him. He has his uses. I'm sure there's less uses for him now, but I think he's really good, personally. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm putting him in S. At the end of the day, this is my tier list. Feel free to disagree in the comments, but I really like that Mitsurugi. But I might be biased because he helped me beat the dungeon. Anyway, next up is Leah. So this is a Earth Leah. Other than that, okay, 126 normal physical damage to one enemy. Then she does a 162 Earth physical damage to one enemy and moderate reduction to their physical defense. And then she has an AoE Earth physical attack that was 142%. Overall, not a bad Leah. This is the Leah I used for the longest time, just because it had an AoE and a minor reduction to physical defense. To do Leah things, she has the Leah ults that are all really good, and her EX trait is 6% when using Earth attacks. I think she's definitely an A. I don't use her as much anymore because now that, you know, harder content is out, my Leah isn't built up completely, so she's taking a bit more, not doing as much as other built up characters. But when I get her built up, I'm sure she'll be good, as long as I don't pull any better 4-stars. Next up is another Leah. I think this Leah is better personally, so I promise you it's not the art. Anyway, she is, I always have to double check if they're 555 because I never remember. Okay, sick. So she also has a physical, oh no, not also, sorry, scratch that. She has a physical, the old one has a earth. So she has a physical trait. She does a 126 normal physical damage on her basic. She has a moderate recovery to all allies and minor boost to physical attacks. Then she has an AoE 129 lightning physical damage and a minor reduction to all enemies' agility. I think she's really good. The reduction to agility is nice. The heal, the attack buff is nice, and she has Leah's ult. And if you have her weapon, she takes even more. Pretty solid unit, all things considered. Not saying the other Leah is bad, but this Leah definitely has more utility and the other one definitely has more damage, so they have their uses. Next up is Celio. She is a lightning character. She has, unfortunately, 15 resistance to poison. Not the greatest trait in my opinion, but she has a 113 lightning magical damage to an enemy basic. She has a moderate recovery to all allies and clears poison status. Then she has a 128 lightning magic damage to one enemy and moderate boost to physical defense for all allies. Then she has Celio ult. Definitely not a bad character at all. Boosting your defense is nice, clearing poison is nice, and then she just heals. So pretty much fulfills the role that you need her for. Of course, there's probably better ones, and the 4-star version kind of does what she does. But, you know, is a 4-star. But if you don't have her, definitely a option if you need a healer and, you know, you don't like Cecilia. I think Celio is slightly better though, but that might just be my Cecilia hate showing. Anyway, next up is Erica. Erica is a water character. She has a 15 resistance to haze effect. She has a 126 normal physical damage to an enemy basic. She has a 154 water physical damage to an enemy and minor boost to agility for all allies. And then she has an AoE 135% water physical damage. And then of course the Erica ults. Not anything too crazy. She just boosts agility and is a water DPS. If you pull the swimsuit one, this Erica will never be used ever. But, you know, is an option if you need to, and the agility is not the worst thing you could get, so she will be in B. She's not completely terrible. Next up is the two Mias. So the first Mia is a water Mia. She has a 126 normal physical damage to an enemy. She has a moderate recovery for all allies, minor boost to physical defense for all allies, and then she has a water physical damage on one enemy and moderate reduction to their physical defense, along with a 5% physical damage trait. And then the Mia skills, I've never personally used Mia, so I don't know how well she works. The healing is nice with the defense, but Mia always strikes me as more of a doing damage character. Definitely not terrible. I'd probably slot her in B, just because I like my heals on the characters that are either constantly healing or are the tank. Definitely not, you know, saying she's bad. If you like Mia, you know, good for you. The more I look at her, I low-key want to bump her up to A, just because the physical defense is nice and all, and she boosts physical damage. I'll boot her up. She's not that bad. I just haven't used her personally, so this one is a little up in the air for me. Then we have the other Mia, which also has a 5% EX trait for physical attacks. This one is definitely worse. She has a 126 normal physical damage to one enemy, bind, 162 physical fire damage to one enemy, and then she has a 162 single target fire physical damage and 218 if the enemy has a status condition. Definitely not that good. She's pretty much the same as Kazuma. That I'm bumping them down to C. Low-key, they're only used as sub. There's no way people actually use these characters. But That is what it is. Unfortunately, the two festive ones seems to be the worst, I've noticed. Interesting. Other than that, I've noticed we have, what, 3 swimsuit ones? And then we have, yeah, 3 swimsuits. Interesting. Anyway, this is the tier list for the goddess medals. Let me know down below what your thoughts. Would you change it up a bit? Do you like these units? Do you use them a lot as subs or just filler units in general? Oh, the music ended. Perfect. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next Konosuba video. Thanks for watching.